Hello everyone. You haven't seen me in forever,
It's been a year, Daddy. I really miss you.
just like we haven't seen any MMA in forever. Well, unless if you watch a few other stuff. But the UFC is finally back. We all finally have purpose again to finally watch more UFC.
Everything that I've read, praise the Lord.
And this first card of the year, the first Paramount card, looks like it's going to be fun. I'm very excited. I'm sure all of you are. And it's good to be back. Expect a lot more from me this time compared to last year. Didn't do much. But this year I'm locked in. I'm going to release 2 videos every week, at least try to. And without missing any more of your time, let's get straight into it. So I'm only going to cover 2 fights on the primary card because there's only 2 fights that people are really interested in. The first one is Itiba Gauthier versus Andrei Puliev. Do I even need to analyze this fight? Gauthier is gonna knock him out in the first round. Gauthier is probably one of the best prospects you've seen in a while. He's literally the middleweight Ngannou. His power is genuinely unbelievable. He might be the hardest hitter who is currently in the UFC. Maybe Carlos Prates, maybe Ilya Topuria is there with him. But Gauthier looks like a monster. He looks unstoppable. We haven't seen much of his grappling yet, but with his physique, he's a pure athlete. I think he can easily overcome most challenges, especially against the lower level competition that he's currently fighting. So my prediction is Gauthier by first round KO. Then Umar Nurmagomedov versus Davison Figueiredo. This fight should never have been made. I don't know what the UFC is smoking, but Davison Figueiredo should not step into the ring with Umar Nurmagomedov. Not that Davison Figueiredo is not good, because the other fight should have been booked on the same card. Sean O'Malley is literally fighting on this card. You know, that would have been a good title eliminator because if Sean O'Malley actually beats Umar, no one would complain if he gets a title shot. And it's a different level of competition. It's higher up in the rankings. That being said, I'm picking Umar by decision or submission in the third round. But I think it will most likely go to decision. Now, I do think somewhere in this fight, Umar will get dropped. Umar does have a great chin and his recovery is insane. I don't know how he ate that knee from Bautista, but he did, and he looked insane in that fight. His cardio seems improved. His grappling was insane. I think he's just gonna grapple Figgy into the next dimension. I don't think Figgy's gonna do much, and he's been on a bit of a decline in his last few fights. He's very old, but he still carries with power. And there is a chance that he maybe knocks him out. He has crazy power, but I think it's unlikely in the state of his career and the state of Umar's career where he's coming up and he looks like a world beater. Him, Marab, and Peter Yan are the best fighters in that division, and I don't see them losing to anyone except each other. Now, the first fight of the main card. We're going to talk about Netanyahu's favorite fighter, John Silver, versus Brendan Allen, the nice guy. I think Brendan Allen's gonna get absolutely butchered and murdered, unfortunately. We haven't seen him in over a year. He had a great performance against Movsar Evloev. I thought he won that fight. It was clearly legal knees that he landed against him. But I think John Silver's a different level, man. I think he's the best striker in that division. I will cope about the Diego Lopez laws until I die. I do think he's a much better fighter. And I think John Silver's on the next level when it comes to striking. His counter striking and his reads on the next level. His ability to adapt quickly in a fight is we haven't seen it before. The fact that he has so much fight IQ to switch to elbows after he broke his hand in the Drew Dober fight just shows you the level of fighter we're dealing with. And not to mention his grappling is really high level as well. Now, you will say in the first round against Diego Lopez, he got dominated on the ground, but it was mostly because he made a dumb decision throwing the spinning back kick against such a great grappler in Diego. And Brendan Allen is going to have ring rust, and he doesn't hit that hard. Like he had a great fight against Max Holloway, but that's been like a few years ago. And John Silver hits really hard, man. If Diego Lopez didn't have a chin of granite, he would have been done that night. So I think specifically with the straights, Brendan Allen loves his leaping straights where he goes in, he leaves his side of his head quite open, and John Silver's left hook counter is nasty. He dropped 3 of his opponents and KO'd for 1 with it. I'm not specific with the names now, but I'm sure I'll show you a clip here of the exactly thing I'm talking about.
I just wanna be part of your symphony.
So yeah, I'm gonna pick John Silver by first or second round TKO. I think the ring rust in collaboration with John Silver wanting to get it back in blood after the Diego Lopez loss will feed Brendan Allen into the fire that she will not recover from. Then we have Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. Now, I don't know much about these fighters. I haven't watched them until recently. I've been very busy. But Rose Namajunas has been on a bit of a decline in recent age, and I will never forgive her for knocking out our best fighter in the world, Zhang Weili. So I will obviously pick against her, not out of a biased opinion, but out of true facts. And also, just on a side note, I do think Natalia Silva is much better currently compared to Rose Namajunas. So I do think Ro- so I do think Natalia Silva will be able to use her tools and mix it up to win a decision over Rose Namajunas. Now picking up to Waldo Costa versus Derek Lewis. I think Derek Lewis is going to get knocked out in the first round. Costa has come off 3 great knockouts over opponents. Unfortunately, our goat of the sport, the Blob, got knocked out recently. I think with the momentum he's carrying up to his fights, I think it's going to help him a lot against Derek Lewis in this fight. And I think Derek Lewis has been off for a while, and Acosta can take a shot, man. Like, he can really take a shot. Like, I haven't seen a fighter until recent age in the heavyweight division be able to take heavy shots like that, like he did. Acosta can take a shot, man. Like, he hasn't been knocked out until in recent time, and he's taken heavy shots from his previous opponents. And I do think the momentum he's carrying, and it will propel him forward. And I do think Derek Lewis is at the end of his career. He's old. He still can get the knockout. Don't count him out completely, but I do think with the momentum he's carrying into these fights, he will be able to catch Derek Lewis and put him out cold in the first round. Moving on, Sean O'Malley versus Yadong. Got that. I think Sean O'Malley's got this. I think he has been driven by his previous 2 losses against Marab, and I think he will become back better than we've ever seen him before. I still think he's one of the best strikers in the division. It's either him or Peter Yan, who are the best pure strikers in the division. Specifically, Sean O'Malley is a bit more of a pure striker, with Peter Yan being a great grappler as well. Now, Sean O'Malley is a great counter striker, and Yadong loves his close quarters combat. And I think the distance control will be very important here with his teep kicks that he's been developing against Marab, and he used very well in the first fight. And I think he's been busy with his cardio. And when there's great cardio, I think he can easily work through the rounds. And I do think there's one worrying factor about this fight. Yadong in close range with body shots. We've seen in a few examples O'Malley doesn't like body shots, man. In the last round in the Cheeto Vera fight, the second one, he got dropped. The bell rang, luckily, ending the fight, but he was really hurt. And I'm very afraid that if Yodong pushes the pace and gets him against the cage and rips through the body, that could be a long night for Sean O'Malley. And I think with this fight, this is Sean O'Malley's do or die. If he loses this fight, he loses all his hype. Everything. Everything he has, everything he's worked for, he loses it all. And he will probably get a title shot off this. Dumbest thing ever. If he does get a title shot over Marab, I will stop watching UFC. But it's ridiculous if he does. But I do think Sean O'Malley will win. I think he's a better technical striker. I think his distance is much better. His distance management is much better. His kicks are better. I think his teep kick specifically will keep Yadong at range and he will tap away with a jab. Maybe drop him once or twice. I don't think he will knock him out, but I think he will win a comfortable decision. Maybe losing 1 round. But I can see a possibility where Yadong wins by TKOing with a body shot. But I've trusted O'Malley. I think he will be able to control this fight on the distance and keep him on the end, neutralizing Yadong's abilities. And I think Sean O'Malley will win by decision. Now, the main event of the evening, Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. I think this fight is much closer than a lot of people think. I think a lot of people are counting out Justin Gaethje and overestimating Paddy Pimblett. Now, Paddy Pimblett has a great chin, and that's what's carrying him, honestly, in his fights. His striking is very lackluster. His striking defense is even worse. His wrestling is terrible, but his jiu-jitsu is genuinely great. He's really good jiu-jitsu, but that doesn't help if you can't get your opponents to the ground. You need to rewatch that Michael Chandler fight. It was not as dominant as I remember. And Chandler was able to mog Paddy Pimblett in the grappling in a few of those exchanges. You could easily take him down. It's just Chandler being an IQ of below 30 that he couldn't do much. And that was Paddy's win streak is like something like 0-14, like his last 3 opponents or something like that. Ridiculous. And that being said, I still am picking Paddy Pimblett. Justin Gaethje is at the end of his career, is quite old. He's already talking about retirement. That's not a good mindset heading into a championship fight. And Paddy, I think his chin is good enough to withstand the power of Justin Gaethje for long enough to tire him out and get him to the ground. Because Justin Gaethje makes quite bad decisions when it comes to grappling. And I feel almost like Justin Gaethje is going to shoot against him like Bobby Green did and land himself in a submission. That being said, I can see a world where Justin Gaethje knocks him out with one of those uppercuts, where he landed on Fiziev. But once again, I think Paddy Pimblett is swindling everyone when he said he's going to strike. He's not going to strike. He's going to grapple. Definitely. If he has any brains on him, he's going to grapple Justin Gaethje. A pure fight on the feet, I don't think it's going to work too well, especially in the early rounds. Maybe in the later rounds, 3 to 5, I think Paddy Pimblett could overwhelm him with pace. He has quite decent cardio, and he has really good grappling, of course. And his distance is quite decent, and he has good kicks. But Justin Gaethje throws leg kicks in the start of every fight he is in. And I think people started to realize this with his last fight against Fiziev. He was able to take him down with ease. And I think we're going to see this exact same exchange somewhere in the fight with Paddy Pimblett taking him down off a leg kick and either ground and pounding him like quite badly or going for a submission, which he will get out first. But I think the later the fight goes, Justin Gaethje might not throw as much leg kicks as he's afraid of the takedown threat that Paddy Pimblett possesses off this exchange. I think this will inhibit Justin Gaethje's game a lot, as his leg kicks are very powerful and is one of his biggest kits of his game. So I think, with all that being said, I think Paddy Pimblett's grappling will neutralize the leg kicks, keeping him at distance. And I think the distance management from Paddy Pimblett's a bit better than Justin Gaethje, and I think will keep him for a lot of kicks and jab from a distance and take him down in the later rounds as he's a bit more tired. I think Paddy Pimblett will get dropped once in this fight, maybe in the first or second round, but I think he will be able to take him down in the third or fourth round and submit him, probably through a rear naked choke. And unfortunately, Justin Gaethje has a thing where when it comes to the highlight of his career, ironically his nickname, he never seems to show up, unfortunately. I don't really care actually who wins this fight. I think either way it's a lamb to the slaughter. For Ilya, I think he knocks both of them out in the first round. This should have been Holloway versus Arman Sarukian. That would have been a much better fight. But we don't get what we wish for, unfortunately. So I thank you all for watching this. This is the best prediction on YouTube. I will come back off of this with a 100% prediction rate. And if I don't, it's because the Israeli government is paying the UFC fighters to lose their fights.
What?
Thank you so much for watching.